welcome to the start of a new FTUP category. That is FTUP compliance. In today's story, his boss really should have listened to OP. And this story was from Reddit user DX Gypsy. $1 million worth of malicious compliance. I actually finally have a malicious compliance story of my very own. This happened just last night. I'm a mid level boss for the second shift in a distribution warehouse. Among the many things I'm in charge of, the biggest is billing. I invoice all the orders after they are picked and loaded on trailers to be sent to the customers. Keeping all the boring technical details as small as possible, the billing system is called ASN. It's clunky, outdated, and absolutely asinine in how it operates. If one single order is missed, yes, just one, or has an error, it will crash the system and not put through any of the orders. So one billing order will cause 400 to 700 orders, or around 8,000 to 15,000 pieces of product, or roughly 15 to 20 trailer loads, to not be billed or sorted through routes or sent. The orders come in 4 batches called POs. Man, they should really upgrade their system. This is a disaster waiting to happen. So last night we were working on the first PO and the warehouse manager comes to me and tells me that a customer ordered late. They've generated a fifth PO just for their order, but they're coming in person tomorrow morning, and that the day shift will pick it. Only 10 pieces. He tells me when it prints out to just set it on his desk, don't pick it or bill it. He'll handle it in the morning. I immediately tell him that if it's going to print on second shift's POs, then it will be in the system under our ASN, and that if I don't bill it, it will hit the system as a missed order and crash the ASN. He looks at me indignantly and says it won't because the fifth PO is after ours and will be in the system as the next day's. I tell him that's not how it works. He insists and says just do it. His shift is over and he wants to go home. I give him a hearty yes sir and go about my night. Yep, here's the disaster right here. After the order printed, I set it on his desk as instructed and sent him an email on the company computer stating that his direct instructions had been followed. Normally, I'd have texted, but I wanted proof in the company's email. Needless to say, in the wee hours of the morning after my crew was home in bed, the ASN crashed over the missing order and just under $1 million of product was frozen in limbo. No money was charged, no customers received their pre-July 4th orders. My company ate the cost of everything, including the transportation costs, drivers, lumpers, dock workers, pickers' payroll, and all the other expenses of a large warehouse nightly operation. This morning, the warehouse manager called me, and to his credit, he didn't try to throw me under the bus, possibly helped along by my email proof. But he's always been generally an upfront kind of guy. He just sheepishly told me I was right and shit had hit the fan. He's been there forever, so I doubt he'll get fired, but I know he'll be walking with a limp after the ass chewing he took from corporate today. If you're going to run a multi-million-dollar operation on an antique goober system, don't argue the one goober who knows how to make it run. Opie's probably like, alright, boss, we'll do what you said, boss. Anyhow, well said on his part. When someone more knowledgeable about the system says it'll crash, you better believe it'll crash. As for his boss, massive respect for owning up to it. Now, for our next story, OP makes his customer have a burning poo-poo later in the day. This story is from Reddit user Optimal Didco. Make me serve you something you've never heard of after being warned about? Yeah, right. Obligatory, on mobile, and English is in my first language. So, yeah, I took liberal corrections and modifications to the original text. So if you see something different, that's pretty normal. This happened today. I work as a waiter during summer in a local restaurant. It's popular among tourists, but not so much among local people, meaning you have to deal with a lot of different people. Most dishes are international ones available everywhere, but some are local from our culture. Today, I had a table with American tourists. American flag on their hats and a backpack with the text, Massachusetts, US. It's pretty obvious. They were polite at first, but then got pissy when we didn't take their order fast enough because, well, we were at full capacity. I finally managed to get to them and was met with, as an American, I shouldn't be waiting that much. We liberated you. Disclaimer, they didn't. I just sucked it up and asked what they would like to order. Our menu was available in English, but with transliteration and not direct translation. For those who don't know, because I certainly didn't, Transliteration is where you represent or spell in the characters of another alphabet, like how you would spell Chinese characters in English. Anyways, they butchered everything, but that's common and I don't mind. The final item was unbearably spicy. I would never eat it myself, and I warned them. But in reply, I got, "Don't you dare tell me what to eat. A minimum wage worker should just write it down and serve us. God knows why you have rights." Even though he is right that I am a minimum wage worker, the audacity ticked something in me. I just placed our order and made sure the cooks kept the dish as spicy as it is in the original recipe. "Alright, boss. We'll proceed to order our most spicy dish, boss." They kept being pissy about slow service and made some comments about me and the restaurant. I served them everything and was waiting for the screaming match. And that's exactly what happened. They started screaming their butts off that we were trying to injure them. And then the man started cussing at us. I told him that they were warned but kept cussing. When told to get out by the manager, they said, "We're taking you to court. See you in New York." Yeah, right. They were forced to pay and swore to never come back. I do not hate Americans as a whole. I don't mean to insult the properly behaving ones. The bad ones are more uncommon here. My story is focused on the misbehaving ones, not the good ones. I bet that spicy dish will come bite them in the ass later. Imagine if they were on the plane back home and then their spicy curry comes knocking and the lavatory occupied. That sounds like another good story right there. Alright, as for the last story, OP's relative gets free money, enough to retire. This one is posted by Village Idiot 1984. Poorly drafted exit documents equals free pension. This happened to a family member, and it's my favorite legal fuck up story. My family member was a partner in a law firm. The way a lot of law firms work is partners who retire get a pension. It's based on their last few years' average salary or something similar. This only applies if you truly retire and not go work somewhere else, and my family member was not near retiring. The two other partners who were in his area of practice at this firm decided to push him out. Instead of trying to come to an agreement for him to leave, they ambushed him in a meeting where they had already drafted exit documents for him to sign. They included some token severance, but basically said, "Pack your shit, or we are going to make this huge hostile thing and drag your name to the mud. Capiche?" Sorry, I just had to. There's a non-complete clause in a lot of partnership agreements, so you can't leave and take clients and go to work somewhere else right away if you're a partner. In their haste to prepare these documents, they negated a bunch of these clauses so he would be able to work at another firm without waiting the non-compete period. But they missed that some of those clauses were also what governed the part of the pension clause that doesn't let you get pension if you work for another firm after you leave. Basically, they wrote documents that gave him a pension way early and for the rest of his life, and based on some really good years he'd had for the firm. He noticed this when he read them because he's a good lawyer and knew they fucked up. And also knew he would be able to get a job pretty easily, so instead of negotiating or fighting it, just signed them as is and left. They were very surprised, expecting a huge fight or a long negotiation. He ended up getting another job pretty quickly at a different law firm. He waited a couple of months, then called one of the other partners and said something like, "So when are you going to start making the payments?" At his age when this happened, they would have had to pay him a large amount of money every year for maybe 40 to 50 years. They basically shat their pants. Once they went back through and realized what they had forced him to sign, they started making offers to buy him out of his pension. He eventually settled for a multi-million-dollar payout, all because he signed the documents they put in front of him. "Okay, boss, we'll sign the papers, boss. Totally not gonna fuck you over, boss." Joking aside, you should have just had the company paying forever. That would have been easy passive income right there. A one-way ticket to financial freedom. Anyhow, that's it for today, guys. As usual, if you've got a story to tell, send it over at iveeffedup@gmail.com. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!